Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. When I did the bike check on my Santa Cruz, I mentioned the brakes, the 4-piston calipers with 180 rotors as probably being everything you can dream of for a trail bike like this. Now Shimano has other ideas because they also have the better version of those brakes, the XT Race version. These are more expensive than the XTs, and in this video I'm gonna take a look at them side by side and see if they are actually worth the extra premium. XT, SLX and Dior, they all come with the same lever, and the difference is here in the type of caliper used with them. They usually have like a 2-piston or a race version and a trail version that is 4-piston, but again they all come with the same lever. XTR offering is different. They have two types of levers. What you see here, the identical lever with the XT, this would be called the trail version, and the code for it is M9120. Also here you're gonna see that this is made in Japan, and 22.2 is the diameter of the bar here where the grips and the controls are installed. On this trail version, the master cylinder shape is very similar to the one of the XT. The lever shape is the same. You have the same toolless reach adjust, and you can see here the free stroke adjustment on both. Master cylinder comes in the same XTR light gray as opposed to the XT, which is a darker gray. The EV bar clamp, the new one, is black on all these brakes, and the XTR seems to have that extra cutout, most probably just to save weight. I mentioned the lever blades being identical, and you can see the dimples here where your finger rests on it. However, be careful. These blades are not necessarily interchangeable between XTR, XT, SLX, Dior, because they might vary in height right here where they enter the master cylinder. On the back of this XTR master cylinder, you can see extra cutouts versus the XT. So again, these are not identical even though they look similar. And the bar clamp that seem to have a deeper cutout here, and that's not just to save weight. Remember, accessories like this Shimano remote would attach here on the EV band, and this gives you more vertical adjustment. It's kind of silly how Shimano differentiates their series by having a bigger or smaller cutout here for adjustability. XTR has the biggest cutout here. XT and SLX have less, and Dior has even less adjustment than this. And I mentioned the XTR Race version of these levers that doesn't look anything like this. It loses the reach adjust, it doesn't have the free stroke adjustment, and it doesn't have servo wave embedded like you have it on these two levers. That race lever is used with the smaller 2-piston caliper that only comes in the XTR lineup. This trail caliper though, the M9120, uses the same new slimmer design of the XT and SLX, with the big difference being the materials used here. XTR uses magnesium for the caliper and the master cylinder versus aluminum for all the other brakes. Magnesium is lighter and stronger, however it complicates matters when it comes to installation. The provided bolts are for 160mm discs. They're made out of titanium. They have that plastic washer that prevents the titanium from touching the magnesium, because otherwise you can start having corrosion. And you can see the tiny hole here in the head. That is for the safety wire that is provided with them. So the retaining pin for the pads is different in case of the XTR. Make sure you use the provided hardware. And we mentioned the pads, and you see the new Fint pads that come with these brakes. They are the same used by XT. So we're talking about N03A for resin and N04C for metallic pads with fins. The older pads without fins will fit just fine, something like this D03S, which in this case is resin. To remove the pads, the usual safety clip has to be removed from one side. You're gonna use a flat head screwdriver, take it out, and here are the pads, in this case the resin. Looking inside the caliper, aside from the different material, you have the same quad piston 218 and 216 millimeter pistons. They are made out of ceramic. Same quad ceramic pistons are used in the XT and SLX calipers, and the body of the caliper is almost identical. You can see the XTR being sculpted a little bit more in these areas, but otherwise you have the banjo connector here up top on the inside. The BH90 hose is common for all of these. The only thing that would be different for XTR is again the bolt. This is made so it can touch magnesium and not corrode. And otherwise you see the bleeding port here at the bottom. Same here on XT and SLX. With these new brakes, Shimano introduced new rotors, and they are very similar to these MT800s, which are XTs, but the XTR ones will be painted black over here. Now, with the price of those being twice as much as the MT800, I don't know if I would recommend them, even though Shimano says that they provide better cooling. But these are center lock discs, and if you're looking for the 6-bolt version, don't be afraid. The good old RT86, the XT discs work just fine. If you want to save a little bit of cost, you can even go for the SLX RT66. These are very good discs that I highly recommend as well. When I reviewed the XT 4-piston brakes, I weighted the front and it came up to 285 grams. Here is the front XTR at 265, so we're talking about 20 grams difference per brake, or probably about 40-50 grams difference between the XTR brake set and the XT or SLX equivalent. In describing the new XTR brakes, Shimano says stiffer, more braking power, quicker engagement, but they're all relative to the old generation XTR. Are they better than the new 4-piston XTs? And to get a sense of that, I'm gonna keep my rear brake as an XT, and I am going to install my front brake as an XTR 4-piston. These brakes are OEM from my friends at Bike Components. Whether you get them like this or with the hoses disconnected, I do have a video on my channel giving you the A to Z on how to get this installed properly. Make sure you check that out. And here we are, XTR front installed next to the XT rear brake, and the feel of the brake is exactly the same. So from this static position, I can't tell you the difference between the two. But I've also taken the same brake configuration, XTR and XT, to the trails.
Whew. Alright, see how this goes. Oh, holy moly. This is fast. Woo-hoo. Okay, so what do I think about these new XTR 4-piston brakes versus the XT 4-piston brakes? In a nutshell, if you have the money, you want to save 50 grams, by all means, get the XTRs. Back-to-back riding, using them together like you see it here, you're not going to notice any difference. Maybe, just maybe, if you're using them in extreme conditions, the magnesium caliper might make a difference. I'm very glad that I got to try these out. They're great brakes, again, just like the XTs, SLX, and even Dior 4-piston for that matter. So what kind of brakes do you guys run? Did you go for the XTR, XTs, or the cheaper SLX or Dior? If you have any questions for me, I would love to hear in the comments below. If you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, keep an eye on social, and until next time, hope to see you guys on the trails. You.